My mic on?
Feeling good.
Yeah, the first link I sent was the stream, y'all. But see, this be
Text
this
for
be
some
better
reason.
for people anyway, cause when they use YouTube directly, you know what I'm saying? If any of my
Yeah.
subscribers come on, then I can tell them to go ahead and subscribe to your channel as well.
Okay. That's a bet.
So it's
I
like more
appreciate
of a collaboration. It help anyway.
it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So go ahead and tell us about your event coming up.
All right. Well, first shout out to my boy Toe, my partner, Ill Smoke, and shout out to Coach Jake. They've been rocking with me with the U-Haul brawl and building it up. So I gotta give them their respect too. So, but what we got going on January 3rd is an innovative, extreme kind of boxing setting. So it's basically the U-Haul Brawl 7. We did this about 6 times already throughout and it started in the DMV. So DMV stand up, you know how we do it. We got it rolling. The boxing we taking over. But at the end of the day, man, it's a beautiful initiative. A lot of people, would never, just
Right.
jump right in the U-Haul. It's basically a U-Haul fight in the back of the U-Haul truck, and we pad it all out and make it safe as possible. You
Nah,
know, you see what I'm saying? We gotta pad it out. We gotta make it safe. So, it's not just a bad truck. Where it's just people can hit their head on the wall, or they might miss a shot and hit the wall somehow. So we pad the sides out to make
mhm.
sure we create some safe. We had some safe properties there. Also, the floor, we drop a floor down just in case somebody fall, hit their head. They got some padding there. Boxing, we try to make it as safe as we can. But anybody get hurt in the ring or boxing or in the street, throwing their hands.
That's real. That's real.
No doubt.
What made you come up with an idea like this, man? It's so innovative. It stands out. You know what I mean? It caught my attention instantly. The moment I saw it, I'm like, it's crazy. But you know what I mean? So, I,
Yeah.
what was the inspiration for that idea?
Well, first off, I mean, I've been a fighter all my life. So, when I came out here and to the DMV. I was doing some nonprofit work at the time, and working these three uh, these three entities, which was chess, music, and boxing. But it wasn't getting that much, traction all over the DMV. So I saw Sit 'em Down Sandy. I don't know if you know Sit 'em Down Sandy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, Sit 'em Down
Everybody
Sandy.
down Sandy, man. The
There you go. There
viral sensation, man. He was all over the place.
the OG, you know what I'm saying? Hands up, guns down. So, when I saw him running around fighting people, I said, man, I need to go. I need to fight this guy. Somebody told me, man, you need to fight him. And I had stopped boxing for a long time and maybe like a good 10 years and was focused on nonprofit work. And, I was like 50 years old at the time. So I'm like, yeah, he older. I said, but you know what? That'd be kind of cool because that'll hype up my nonprofit, my chess, music, and boxing, put more focus on that. So, I sought out to fight him. Me and him did a face off, and it went viral. Everybody at the DMV wanted to see the fight. But fast forward all that, me and him wound up being cool, and we didn't never fight. But I did fight like two, three people, right after that. So then people knew that hey man, this guy really he can box. So people, I wound up linking up with my boy Toe that was actually fighting for another organization alongside of me. We both was fighting
I,
for this different organization.
I know about Toe. You talking about Toe from over on the northeast side?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's my partner,
Yeah.
Ill Smoke. So we came together and created Ill Smoke. So me and him start going around. I got me a boxing ring. I built the boxing ring. It took me like $7,000 to $10,000 to put this thing together. and I created this ring, and me and Toe start going around and doing fights and bringing people, together.
Right.
It was gangsters, it was, whatever. It was people out there. Everybody was outside. We had the people moving. So that went for a good 4 or 5 years, and I was and at the time, it was all about hands up, guns down, and distracting people from shooting and all that stuff. So, whenever I noticed, whenever we did these events, that it really grabbed people, and even it'll have an after effect to it. So after the fights for about a week or so, like bloggers are posted and everybody be sitting there looking at it, bidding on it, all kind of stuff, and it just distract people.
Right.
So that right there was cool. But then I noticed that, okay, people seeing the same fights, they seeing the same people fighting each other, and they kind of get a little bit bored. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta think of something different because, you know, I start thinking extreme fights because the main objective was to distract people in a good way to get them, to not be on any kind of BS out there in the street. So, it
Mm.
had them distracted looking at the phone like, oh man, that's crazy. Now that time is so important because, in that time frame of them looking at the phone and watching these events, it throws them off from other stuff they could be possibly doing. So,
No, that's
it didn't stop everything, but at the end of the day, it's just that pause that we was looking for. And so it started to, die out just a little bit. The crowds got a little smaller, this and that. So I said, man, I started thinking a little bit different. And I said, okay, all right, what could really bring people out? What could distract them more? And I thought about tight spaces. And like I said, I was a fighter all my life. I fought in hallways, I fought in, alleyways, I fought in wherever I was. I fought in cars, I fought on
backyard
buses.
dog. Backyard dog, basically.
Straight up, I fought if not anywhere that somebody had some type of static with me or whatever. I won't ask for no space. We just gonna go. So at the end of the day, I just got those old school values of fighting. A street fighter. By heart, by nature, by my father, by way of my father taught me how to box when I was younger and when I ran the streets. That's I was always relied on my hands. I never, relied on gun player, none of that. You know what I'm saying? I've been to LA, been out there in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? I still was fighting. While they was shooting, I was fighting. I don't know why, but that was my thing.
Right.
So, like I said, you know, once we started thinking, I started thinking like U-Haul brawl, tight space, and then I started thinking about like people in jail, like you know what happens in that setting. You just go right in that little small little room, say, "Yo, come see me," and then yeah, the door open, the shit locked behind them, and they lock in. So it's like that's it, that's it. And then
Nobody
I said,
gonna save you.
that's it. So what
That,
kind of space would this be? So I started thinking about the U-Haul, and I said the truck fights and all that. I said, man, that'd be cool. I said, then I started thinking, even damn, what if the truck was moving? Like I started thinking crazy, like fighting while the truck is moving. I said, nah, that ain't gonna work because
yeah, that's
you swinging, nigga hit the brakes, boom. Oh
crazy.
man, so I ain't think that was cool. So I wound up just saying, well, I'm gonna leave it stationary. And the first time we did it, we padded it out, but it was only like just by the level of as tall as a person was. But it didn't, we didn't pad out the middle and all that. So you still see some bare trucks around the 4 or 5 pads I had around it. So it was still a little bit, unsafe to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, it's we did the fight. We did the first U-Haul brawl and out here in the DMV. And actually it was out towards Oxon Hills. We did the
Okay.
first one over there, and then it was a good turnout, man. It was at nighttime, and it was a lot of people like really interested in seeing how this would play out. I was interested in seeing how it was going to play out too. But we did the joint, and it was a success. You know what I mean? We
That's what's
had
up.
we didn't have as many people, but we had enough people to get a crowd
You know,
going and to
you
get it
got the-
going. So yeah.
so going forward, like how far would you want to take something like this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, would you turn it into an event where you charge people and then you start to try to build some revenue up and potentially, you know, try to get a boxing license and be one of the next guys and on the scene with amateur boxing? Like, or, you know, small.
Well, we gonna look at this like a production because at the end of the day, USA Boxing probably wouldn't, sanction something like this because it's more, it's different, it's tight spaces, it's in a truck, so it's like they might not sanction something like this. It might take time, but if we make it a production, that means that you know, we basically can, you know, get it out there to the world,
That's real.
or, you know, something that you could watch and, it's more of a production than it is. And I ain't talking about no fake fight or nothing like that. It's just being done with cameras and mics and, you know, being edited out and really put together well so we could get it out to the masses of people. I think that's the only real way. I mean, now, mind you, I'm saying it won't be a sport that they acknowledge, but we coming from the ground up, so sometimes it's hard to
So
really get people
how
like
has
that. To
with like uploaded your footage and stuff like that? Like I
say it
said,
again.
how has it been with like you uploading footage? Like, have you had any like, you know what I'm saying? Like speed bumps in the
Kickback
road?
or any kind of backlash,
Yeah, that's what.
like any kind of backlash. Nah, you know why? Because it's done in a way of community, and it's done in the way of healing, and it's done in the way of hands up guns down or gloves up guns down. And once we keep that message, it resonates. And as long as you know that you have a clear goal of helping people with this initiative, then you know people stay off my line when it comes to trying to give us a problem for this. Yeah,
bro.
yeah, gotta keep the message strong.
Have you saw some of the other fighters as far as I see Jiggy, he's involved with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Or has he bought you some
Well,
talent or you know?
well, I could say that Jiggy, yeah, he cool. That's my people's. But we don't actually we put fights together from time to time. From time to time, me and Jiggy, and Coach J, my boy Toe, we all shared the platform sometimes.
Okay.
And as Jiggy was coming up and getting started, we was giving them a lot of different, elements, bringing them elements like my makeshift ring. I would bring that, drop it over there at the purple turf, and we all come together. We'll bring out, certain people like Cuban Assassin,
Shout out to Larry Riccio.
yes sir. My boy Coach J would bring out Mark Chopper, and you know, he had a couple more people. I'll bring out Goofies. We'll have like a bigger kind of, setting when it
Bigger
comes,
time.
yeah, for the boxing and for the community, because a lot of times, those kind of communities don't get to see all those kind of, DMV local celebrities. But pulling them in always been, one of our things that we would do to size up the whole boxing community out here.
You got somebody making a huge wave right now with Mr. Watch Me Work.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was out there too with us too. Coach J and them brought Mr. Watch Me Work out there at the Purple Turf.
Okay.
And yeah, Mr. Watch Me Work is running around here doing what he need to do.
Nah, for real.
He got the wave going, and anything that get people motivated, uh,
To get
on their grind, on their thing, yeah, to work out and get shape and do, what I'm saying? That's where it's at, man. That's part of our culture, and that's part of healing and a part of staying on point.
right.
with your health and your life. You know what I'm saying? It's motivating. And so I respect the Mr. Watch Me Work, man. He's a good brother. And he moving all around the earth too. So all that stemming from the DMV.
That's real. I feel like the DMV breeds a lot of good talent here, and just outstanding individuals that always seem to want to define the odds and see how far they can push their talents.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's it's a lot of talent out here. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm from New Jersey, but I've been out here for 25 years. So, I feel like, the DMV adopted me in a sense, and I planted a lot of seeds to help the DMV. And I'll tell you, man, I love the DMV, man. It's one of my favorite places on the earth, man. I've been a lot of different places, Cali, Jersey, different places. I even been to Oklahoma, but at the end of the day, man, the DMV, really, really made a good impression on me, and I'm still riding the wave. I love it out here, it's real. But it's a lot of talent, especially with the boxing and just different stuff, even comedy. I mean,
On
we
on the
out
on
here in
the
the DMV,
music
we
side,
innovated on the music side too.
I mean, you could have went the battle rap route as far as getting battle rappers together or something. That might be. We never did nothing like that. The DMV for real, like a real
That's
true
true.
battle rap league or started. You know what I mean? And then it might be like
That's
how
true.
you fake people win. You just get one of them dudes from over at the out there in New York that's doing their thing, or out there in Philly that's doing their thing. You just get one of them just to spice up the car. And then you give a bunch of
Yeah,
local up and coming dudes a chance to, try to put some bars together, take it back to battle rap since dudes like to diss each other and go at each other. If it go to battle rap route, that could be good too. That's another way of, you know what I mean?
look, I done said you right about that, champ. I done ran into so many good rap artists out here as well. My son, he a rap artist too. Shout out to Lot of Pain. Look him up, Lot of Pain. He out in Moke County. That's my son. He doing music right now, crushing the game. But I ran into a lot of artists in my 25 years of being out here. Because when I first came out here, I was on music. I was doing music myself. Because I'm a part of a 72 piece hip hop orchestra band out in LA. It's called The Car.
Oh,
And I'm one of the main MCs out there. And it's like 9 MCs. It's you got the string section, you got the horn section, you got 2 DJs, you got 2 drummers. I mean, the thing is crazy, man. You can look it up. DAKAH, the car, the hip hop orchestra band. And
that's word.
I was on music before I started doing. So I ran into a lot of people that's like that, like for real. That you talk about rap battles and all that, they will crush competition out there.
And then and
So
then it can even grow into a thing where then you doing city to city. So then it's like, all right, DC versus New York, New York versus Philly. You know what I mean? Spicing it up like that.
I'm
And guys
telling
trying to come together like, nah, we got the best guys. And then it's like, you know what I mean? It make it
you,
competitive. A lot of people will
yeah,
catch on. My mind filled with
mhm.
ideas that I just be trying to shoot out there at people just cause you never know what might stick. You know what I mean?
Word, exactly, bro. No, without a doubt. I believe that, and I know that could happen. So, I mean, we just all we gotta do really. A lot of times, people just need to see how it could work, and hear the ideas, and you put. It's just what I do with all this other stuff. I put the concept out there, see who gravitate to it, and then you start from there. You keep it moving from
Just
there.
like the young lady said, you know what I mean? USA Boxing might not sanction something like that, but you could always get a good sponsor behind you. You know what I mean?
She said,
Eventually,
she said,
if enough,
she said, Red Bull will.
see, you know what I mean?
I hear that. I hear that. That's real. I mean, we just gotta, like I said, man. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. You know that old saying.
No, that's
So that's what we doing, man. We've been doing this, the U-Haul brawls, for 6 years, and we ain't have no pushback or nothing from it because the message is strong. Hands up, guns down. We doing this for a cause. We doing this for the community, and then now we changing it into a production, whereas though it's more like not Hollywood, but it's like a production to where as though people could uh chime in without it looking like it's some barbaric stuff. You know what I mean? That's all.
Right. You know what I mean? Make people look at it as more professional than how, you know what I mean, on the outside how it may seem, you know what I mean? But when they really get involved, they see that y'all trying to do it on a more upscale level.
Exactly. And touch the whole world with it. So it's hard to stop that. That's for sure. And and just for the record, my sister is Tisha Campbell from Gina from Martin. So I'm into the production. I've been into the production for so long, so many years. I've been watching her. We got the same mother, same father. So I saw you know, all her success right first, front row. I was right there the whole time.
Right.
So, and she brought me to LA. She brought me to a lot of these sets, Martin, and she brought me to my wife and kids set, all of these different sets. So I'm always thinking production anyway.
Nah, that's real, man. How was life growing up with that type of talent around you?
Oh man, it was amazing, man. I ain't gonna lie. I learned a lot from her, and for the most part, it's one thing that she said to me years later. Uh, she said this to me while I was trying to, be an artist at the time. And I'm like, damn, I'm trying to get on. She's like, Tay, all you gotta do, cause that's my real name. So she's like, Tay, all you gotta do is make yourself undeniable. And that's with everything. It ain't even gotta be about being on getting a record deal, but it's about community or whatever you striving to do. You gotta make yourself undeniable. And I learned a lot from her by being inspired by her movements and how she rehearsed so long, or you know, she rehearsed for hours in the room with my mother, and I had to sit back and sometimes, get the like get less attention. But I knew what it was for her. The whole family knew that she needed that time. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
just seeing how much she put into it, it always, you know, uh, put a battery in my back.
That's real. We all got that one family member. I feel like they motivate us to want to do more. Um, I had a cousin in the industry. He worked for what's that? Sean John, Jeffrey Tweedy. So that's my cousin. My dad named Jeffrey Tweedy. He was the co-president of Sean John. You know what I mean? But I guess I don't know what the situation is with time with that now with everything else that happened, transpired with,
Yeah,
the CEO.
yeah. At the time, it was moving. At the time, it was
Nah,
moving.
definitely. It was definitely a wave for him. So that was motivation, you know what I'm saying? Me seeing somebody else
Yeah,
in my family doing something. Then my grandfather, he was the commissioner of DC boxing before he passed away. So, just having these type of influences around, it always make more outside the
that's understood. That's respect. And yeah, I mean, hold on a second. I'm jumping off the car. So, so at the end of the day, though, man, it was definitely seeing something like that always, kind of like, what would you call it? Like opens up different channels, you know, in your mind or in your movements because a lot of people like it broadened my horizons. Like I done been to London all for my sister. She flew me out there when she was filming Little Shop of Horrors, and me and my brother, and just been through a lot of you know different things that most people wouldn't have been able to do back, early in the 80s or 90s, and so I was definitely, she was definitely a major influence on, how I move and how I, really like go get it. Like I'm a go getter because of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Let me ask you, how was life in high school?
High school,
I always ask my guests that for some reason. How was life in high school for you?
man. To be honest, man, I was just a terror. I was a terrorist, bro. I was. To be honest, I I had issues with high school, and hold on, let me put the seatbelt on. I had some serious issues with high school because I had a brain injury when I was 10 years old from a fall. So a nail went in my head when I was 9 years old actually. And then after the nail went in my head, I had to jolt my head forward because I was stuck when I was laying down flat on my back like this. And I tried to get up, I wouldn't let me up. So I had to jolt my head real fast, and then the blood started rushing out. So once that had happened to me, they sent me to the hospital. My father took me up there and rushed me up there. And then they cleaned it out or tried to clean it out the best they could, but they thought it was a piece of glass. So they didn't really do no further investigation because I was pretty much in shock. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I was stuck. So what happened a year later than that, a year after that, I had an infection on my brain. I guess because the rust and all of that stuff was there, and I had an infection on my brain and down my spine, all throughout my body, and then my brain started swelling. So they had to do 4 craniotomies on me, like drill my skull to, release the pressure from my brain swelling. So that right there, that's why that's why I call myself the Ilzak. The Ilzak, I didn't even know why I was calling myself that. I was doing that at first, just like a cool name for my rap name, Take Quill the Ilzak. That's what I called myself. But over the years, I had, you know, when you talk about school and high school and stuff like that, I had some serious learning disabilities, and I had a lot of impulsive behavior, and anger and all of this stuff that I had, and I didn't even know I needed to actually stay in front of that stuff. But and because when you avoid trauma, it ain't nothing but it could be bad. You know what I'm saying? So I was looking at going to jail. I've been in juvenile halls, all that kind of stuff. And I was acting out, but people thought it was just because I wanted to be bad, but it really wasn't just that. I came from a place, East Orange, New Jersey, Hilltown, and the brick city. That's where I was raised up at. So it was kind of ill already being out there in New Jersey. But, you know, uh, I never was the type when it's from all the way up to about 9, 10 years old. I was always cool and kind and loving and all that. I ain't want to fight. I ain't even want to fight. My brothers handled my fights for me and all that. But after the surgery and the nail and stuff like that, that's when I started going like just cracking chins and practicing fighting, like sneaking people for nothing and all of that kind of stuff. It was just impulsive behavior. I didn't know how to control. You know,
What's
I didn't
crazy
know how to
about
control.
that, man? It always comes a certain karma with that. I'm just speaking on my own behalf. You know what I mean? When I was young, and I thought, sneaking somebody was a waste some time, or you try and get the one up. But then when it happened to you, it ain't, it ain't never the best feeling in the world at all. You like, damn, my nigga just stole me, huh? The
Man,
fuck?
at that point, you gotta take the good with the bad, brother.
I'll
You
tell you.
gotta take the good with the bad. So
For real, you ain't
I
gonna win
definitely
both.
felt. I definitely felt. I never really graduated past the seventh grade because my teachers was just like letting me go, because they just I put the charm on, like just let me get the C or give me a D, or don't give me an F, because that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
So I would charm my teachers, and they said, all right, man, just push him along. They pushed me along for a few more years and stuff. So, you know, I just could never get with school because my comprehension level and speed processing wouldn't keep up with the class.
that's
So
how
I was in the wrong setting. They put me in the wrong setting
I
after a
was
brain
in
injury and
IEP.
stuff.
They said I had an IEP. I was special ed. You know what I'm
You
saying?
ain't do
But
it. You
I
ain't,
don't
you
think
ain't go through
I
the
don't think
special
it's
ed.
nothing special ed about me at all. Maybe I want to try and comprehend too much because I ain't really want to sit there and do shit. But sometimes you gotta admit you was lazy as fuck. You know what I mean? I gotta admit it.
Yeah,
But when
I
they
could
keep
dig it.
on passing you along and they not holding you back, you like, hey man, I done got this far, baby. Let's keep it going. Like,
Keep
I'm
it
sorry to
going.
say.
Man, I'm telling you, man. So it was rough for me, man. I ain't gonna lie. So I wound up dropping out of high school in LA. Then I came back to Jersey and I went inside. I think I went to Job Corps. Once I got, to a point I couldn't, keep up with school, I went to
I
Job
went
Corps.
to Job Corps. I went to Potomac Job Corps.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I went out to upstate New York. I was out upstate New York. Yeah. But all Job Corps is straight up, it's straight up the streets. I'm gonna tell you that
Hey,
right there.
I'm
It might
telling
even be worse than the streets because you got the
you. And
illest
a
people
lot of
up
dudes
in there.
don't make it. A lot of dudes don't make it to graduation. It's not going
Nah, hey, look, I only made it I think 4 months. I was out of there. That
down.
was it. Yeah, 4 months. Then I was there. I got kicked out of there. But I mean, school and stuff like that, man. I did learn a trade from them though, and that I started painting and hanging up drywall.
Okay, okay.
So I learned that, but I ain't really do too much with that either.
I took up
But
culinary arts and been stuck in the kitchen since.
that's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
Nah,
Still
but at the
cooking.
same time, it fluctuates. So it's like, you know what I mean? If you went in between trying to find jobs in that field, you know what I mean? That's why it's like with this right here, it's like all about how much do I want it. You know what I'm saying? It's not based
Yeah,
off if I got a job at this place or that place. But in the summertime, I always do vending and stuff anyway. I ain't got no shame in that. I get out there with a huge cooler. You know what I'm saying? Pack that junk with a bunch
yeah,
of pineapple, watermelon, strawberries, different things of that sort, water, and get out there and pump. You know what I'm saying? All the fruit going for 5, all the drinks going for 1 and 2. Hey, you be surprised how much that add up, man. I be trying to tell youngins they need to do more of it. Cause I'm like, if I was still young, like, you know what I mean? I'd be, I'm older now. I'm 34. So I'm like, if I was back in my 20s, when I was doing it back when I was 25, I had all the energy in the world. I go out
yeah.
there 2-3 times in a day. I might make about 200 in a day, but as you get older, your body starts talking to you more, and it's like, hey, look, man, you might not want to do this outside of one time. Be happy with what you made today. You got a good little quota. Step off. You know what I'm saying? Because you put
I
work
hear
on it.
that.
You be like, oh damn, man, my back hurting and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but some
Yeah,
come with conditioning yourself and working out too. You know what I mean? As you doing something like that.
yeah. I was gonna say, man, you 34, man. You can't be talking about your back hurting, man,
Yeah.
because you know what I'm saying. You just gotta
Now
work
I
out,
used to
stretch.
look. I used to work this tough job over at the Hamilton. I don't know if you ever heard of that restaurant, DC, the Hamilton. But
Nah,
we used to be 24 hours over at the Hamilton. So you might be on an 8-hour shift picking up trays of 2-3 tables on the joint. And then they had a requirement where we had to put the tray all the way over our head. So it used to be
mm,
that me having to do that. You know what I'm saying? And
I
the
could.
back and
Yeah,
stuff.
I understand that.
Man,
I understand that. Like it just depends. Like some bus drivers, like or truckers, they sit in that one position for so long. You know what I mean? And then and driving them trucks so long, it start weighing on their back too. So it just depends. It's the consistency of reaching and doing certain shit. I understand that. In awkward ways, I understand that. Like as far as like some warehouse work that people wind up. That's why they be having them belt backs and back belts
yeah,
and
and
stuff
I
like
get
that.
irritated with staying there long periods of time because I tore my ACL. So the fact that I tore my ACL when I was 16,
Where we at? On your shoulder
no, on my knee.
or your knee? Yeah, hey, okay, okay, okay.
Hey, I tore my meniscus in 3 different places in my left knee. So it's like at the same,
Oh damn,
hey, that's a lot. So I be trying
that
still
is, bro.
mindful of that. And I done still got in fights and everything else with the toy ACL, but you can just tell that your lateral movement ain't the same that you wanted to be when you done messed up something like your ACL and you going on, 20 years on that jump.
Man, I'm telling you, I know how that. I know the feeling. I'm actually going to do a surgery on my shoulder in January, early January.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I separated my AC in Job Corps 30 years ago, bruh.
Dang.
30 years ago, and I kept fight. Yeah, right here. I separated. It got a knot right here because that
Dang.
joint like up like that. But you know, hey, I was fighting the whole time after that, like
Right.
street fights. Oh, bruh, you know what I mean? Fights I had with my shoulders separated, and I had fights out here recently. 2022, 2023. I had 3 fights in the DMV. So and my shoulders was bad when I fought. I knew they was bad, but see, you know, going into the fight, both my shoulders was messed up, and I knew it. But it was my mind. It even wasn't no ego shit. It was really just thinking about what had to be done. You know what I mean? The sacrifice of I said, look, even if I sacrifice my arm, my shoulders, this gotta happen. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of knew it. You feel you got a sense of man, you gotta fight, you gotta fight. So and I just put it in my mind. I said, now I had to because when you fight and you kind of gotta it's like psychological, you gotta psych your own self out sometimes. And that's what I had to do. I said, look, I said to myself, I said, man, if somebody pushed up on you right now at Walmart while you do handling your business, coming out of Walmart, somebody bumped you or said something crazy and try to spit on you or something like that, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm just gonna start rocking. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I felt like. I said, I'm just gonna start rumbling. If somebody do that to me, I said, well, I'm gonna act that when I get in this ring, I'm gonna act like somebody did that to me when I was in the streets, and I'm not gonna think about it. I'm gonna let my adrenaline kick in, and I start thinking like that, and it got me through the fight. I was hurt though afterwards. I was 50 years old at the time, and I'm 54 right now, but
You 54?
I was so messed up. Yeah, I'm 54 years old, man.
Hard to believe that, man.
50,
You look like you in your 40s, man. That's
nah, man, I'm
nice, man.
54. Man, God is good, man.
Nah, for real.
Boxing actually keep me young. All the people I've been running with in the DMV been keeping me young, keeping me
Okay.
moving. And I don't really feel too much difference, man. Just my shoulder shot. But once I get that surgery, I'm going back fighting again.
Right.
I'm trying to fight for another 5, 6 years. I'm gonna probably stop fighting when I'm 60. But other than that, I'm keep going.
Because it keep you in shape. Keep you going.
Yeah, plus I want to get off vent off some anger too that I got with me. That I'm gonna put that on somebody else.
You be
I'm
trying to fight
telling
people your age or people my age?
it don't matter, bro.
Or
It don't matter.
you don't even
I'm
got a
a real
fix.
fighter. It don't matter. I mean,
You ain't got
listen.
no fix.
All the people's no picks. All the people that I fought was younger than me. I can't wait to fight somebody older, like my age. Man, I will crush people my age because they got arthritis, they got breaks and all kind of ACL damage. They got problems. So I
Nah,
know if I fight somebody my age, they got problems. So I'm a dog them. I'm a dog them, but the people, younger, like 30s and 30s, 20s, 30s, and all that, that's cool too. I don't mind fighting them. You know what I'm saying? I'm a different kind of fighter. You know what I mean? I fight off of, my father. Like I said, my father taught me boxing, so I'm not just a street fighter. I know some stuff.
are you
Over the years, I worked with a lot of real trainers out here in the DMV. In the past 8 years, I promise you, bro, I
what
done ran into the best trainers.
who are some of the trainers you work with?
Well, I work with this old school guy named Larry Johnson. He's an old pro.
Okay.
I work with this guy named Supreme. He teach a lot of people over on Hartsville side. I get tips from a lot of people, man. Even I'm over there at the Gary Russell gym right now.
Hold on. Yeah, yeah,
Hold on, that shit dropped.
yeah.
Hold up, somebody had called in. That's why it
Oh,
dropped. What? You can still hear me though.
Yeah,
My boy Coach J.
you got
Coach
to come
J
out
taught
back
people.
in, I think. Just
I got to
hit
go
the
out and
off,
come back in.
hit the off on you. Nah, just hit the off on your camera and then
Oh, okay. Then it'll lock back in.
yeah,
All right.
work like that.
Let's see if it lock back in. All right. Where's that though? I don't see nothing.
You see the camera
Hitting that joint.
and then cut it back on.
It, yeah, I've been trying to do that. Look, that's the camera, right? Right there.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Uh,
Man, that's crazy. Hold on.
Let me see.
But my boy Coach,
I'm gonna bring him back in, y'all. There we go. There we go.
there you go. Yeah, my bad. But I was gonna say my boy Coach J, that's who actually was calling me this morning that clicked on and made the phone freeze up. But
Okay.
that's my boy. He taught a lot of people, teach a lot of youth. He taught at the Sugar Ray Leonard gym. He taught at who he got what's my brother name, Andrew Council. He been working with him for many years.
Shout out,
Just a
shout
lot of good people. He got a lot of knowledge, man. He's a good brother. He got a lot of knowledge base, and you know,
buddy.
regimen and just the science. I love the science, footwork, all that. I'm even better than I was when I was 50. So, and plus I work with the kids and I teach boxing myself. So when you teach it, if you teach anything, even culinary arts, you get better. You know what I'm saying? You get better at it. You see it different, because you're teaching it. So you kind of like, you know, reinforcing what you already know, but it kind of like gives you more insight every time you look at it. So yeah,
You know, the one thing I enjoy about doing interviews, I feel as though like the more you talk to different people, you know what I mean, you get different insight on the upbringings and you know what I'm saying, the different walks of life and it just, you know what I mean, it's like you learn. It's like you almost in an information session. Cause as you sit there and you let your guests speak and you just, you know what I mean, you take in everything that they say, you can always
yep,
I love this because it's like for one with my daughters, I got 4 daughters, you know what I mean? They watch my interviews, the older two. So it's like
yeah,
it motivates me to keep putting out content for them to, you know what I mean, be able to go back to one day because it's like you create an archive of just different memories and different conversations and you know what I mean? And that's
yeah.
why
That
you
makes
know, my aim for interviews is never the most famous person or even you know what I mean? I've never had a gimmick. It's just like I don't mind just
yeah.
sitting here and just talking to people and just hearing their story.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Nah,
I'm still here.
you went out.
Yeah, I know. Somebody called me again,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, we back.
Hold on, yeah. I gotta bring him back in. It's a good interview, y'all. I hope y'all smashing that like button. Hit subscribe. We on our way to 3,000 watch hours. We on here every day with y'all, man. Giving y'all good content. Good interviews, man. Good live streams. We gonna be all over the DMV, bringing different people on. You know what I'm saying? All over the world, bringing different people on. There we go.
Back.
Yeah. My
That's
mind
my
Mills
boy
be
Coach
doing that
Bay.
all the time. Like, so I'm just starting to catch on to that. You know what I mean? You just actually a person out, bring them back on. So, because
Yeah,
the picture go out when people call in. So I understand.
yeah, true indeed. So do you gonna edit everything or and all that? Do it
It's
edit or
already live.
is it live? Okay, okay, okay. I was gonna say too, man. I see that on your page you got a lot of boxing influence or boxing uh clips on there. That's really, really good clips, man. So you in the boxing, is this a boxing page or mostly, you just gravitate towards a lot of the fighters and stuff like that?
Um, it's mainly boxing. You know, I really focus on boxing interviews for the most part. You know what I mean? But I started, you know what I mean, out doing music. So for like, I want to say at least the majority of my life, it was always promoting artists around DC. I promoted people such as, you know, not just to throw a couple names out there. I worked with Shy before early in his career when he dropped Fire Up. Um,
Mhm.
it was just like a little slight promo run, you know what I mean? Got a
Yeah,
couple and then moved on to, but it was like kind of helping these people, you know what I mean, in the beginning before they got the real buzz that they have now. Who else? Light Show when he first dropped the Life Sentence, his first.
hmm,
Um, who else? RDC. It was a group out of Virginia at the time. They had an
yeah,
artist, J. Lou, that I knew, so I got involved with what they had going on. I was pushing their music and stuff, and it started out on Twitter, man. Like you know what I mean. My whole journey, it started back on Twitter where I a brand called the DMV Followers, and I told my head the guy Tally, but I seen this brand, and I felt like it was really solely focused on a lot of Merlin, you know what I'm saying, content, and I just kind of thought to myself like, what about all the seen talent in DC, like the people I knew, the people I went to high school with, the Dunbars, and you know what I'm saying. I was around
hmm,
with, you know what I mean, that I knew was in bands or I knew rapped or other stuff. So it just started out with DMV like content of me basically, it was like a not a hoods and news type of energy, but it was more like I was like anything I was interested in. You know what I mean? If it caught my attention, you know what I mean? Like I would take because I used to have this little camera, like a regular camcorder type camera, and I would go all
yeah,
DC just vlogging. You know what I'm saying? I would catch like street performers, all type of people. Like I met the young lady Emma G back then, and I was pushing her into the culture, even though because she's from I think like Australia, somewhere far out. You know what I mean? So I was trying to
mm,
get her, to break out of her comfort zone and be around our culture. And you know what I mean? She ended up
yeah.
getting married to a black guy now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of you take a person outside of what they was used to. She's actually from New Zealand. It's coming to me now. She's from
Oh
New Zealand.
wow.
Yeah. So I was just going out there just searching. I remember running into Malik is dope downtown back when he used to just be in gallery, just beating his
You mean
drum.
it? Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's funny you said that. And I was actually I was one of the people that started downtown Silver Spring. I even had Malik. Malik was over there. The drummer, he was over there, downtown Silver Spring. He did a few shows for us. What I was doing down there was this initiative called Taking Back Our Community. And what we was doing, I would come out there with dancers, with singers, rappers. I bring my music, my setup, speakers and all that. Bless you, bro.
Like,
And bring the music and the speakers and the microphones, and nobody ever went downtown Silver Springs and did that. And it was around somewhere around like 2008 or 9, and we started to uh do like live entertainment, like, but nobody could curse on the mic, no, none of that. But
mm,
we'll have like
that's tough.
big crowds out there, like 200-300 people just watching us do our thing. And they be sitting there, we be out there every day, people would be out there waiting for us. And at the time, downtown Silver Springs was like real wild, and people just young people fighting and stuff like that. So we pretty much pushed the message, we taking back our community. And we did a lot of stuff out there. We helped a lot of people. We did backpack drives out there, dance battles. I mean, it was a lot of stuff. Malik when I came out there a few times and performed for us. So it was a good initiative. This was right before I started doing Hands Up Guns Down. So
Okay.
I stopped doing that downtown Silver Springs, and then I started pushing into DC with this initiative
Yeah,
and PG.
I started out just trying to get just interviews from pretty much anybody that was really doing their thing around the DMV. And then, you know what I mean? I started honing in on boxing more because it was like as I was reaching out to rappers or comedians, I wasn't getting the same proper respect, or because at one point I had a Twitter page that had 100,000 on it at one point. You know what I mean? And I had
Mhm.
won all these accolades as far as 2013's best Twitter feed with DC's best, with the the little post paper that was putting that out. So
Yeah,
I was winning
post,
little
yeah,
accolades around the area and stuff. So as I was building this Twitter page up, it was like everything that I basically, all the value of my brand was really on that Twitter page. You know what I mean? I was more focused on that than the other social media sites. We had Instagram, we had, a domain, the .com, other stuff, but I was only
yeah,
focused on the Twitter because it was like when Twitter first came out, it man, it spread it like,
yeah,
like
like
wildfire.
wildfire. But now look at the platforms now, though. Now you can eat off these platforms, the
For real.
content and all that. That's changed the game.
It ain't just but back then I was eating on Twitter because with me building my following to such a degree, I was doing so much promo that the promo it was coming like that. So it was actually better because for me, it was people coming to me, 20 here, 40 there, and then by the end of the day, I done made about, 150 or $200 in just promos. Now, granted,
Wow.
I will say about that is I'm glad that I did clean the brand up and find a direction for the brand and stuff like that. And it's not really about the short game. It's more about how I see what I'm trying to, ultimately what I'm trying to turn it into, which is an entertainment source. And
Hmm.
and being able to talk to, like I said, people of all walks of life. You know what I mean? These are the things I aim for. So when I started out, I was interviewing a couple rappers here and there, you know what I mean? And I never really was like overly concerned about views. You know what I mean? Like I didn't
Yeah,
post it just to see what type of
it
clip
wasn't for that.
from it. Huh?
Right. I said it wasn't. It wasn't. You wasn't creating a platform for that. You was just spreading the word and trying to
Right.
get people hip to what was going on with the community.
And with me working at the daycare at that time, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I gotta do something else, man. I gotta do something that's going, you know what I'm saying? Something that's going, resonate back to my soul. And, earlier in my life, you know what I'm saying? Before I had children, before I had my daughters, I had started out doing this type of stuff. I started DMVNation back when I was like 19. So it was like, I just thought to myself, I'm like, man, if I can come back and make this relevant again, that's just really telling me that it's meant to be. You know what I mean? When you walk away from something
Yeah.
and you put it down, that's why my first And my interview was with Trey Chaney that was on the wire, and he told me, you know what I mean? He was like, you know, if you keep, you know, second guessing yourself or putting your brain and what you created and your networking skills on the back burner, then you will never know how far that you can take this or how far you can go in life. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's just being able to talk to them type of people and get these type of messages, it can motivate somebody, you know what I mean, around the world some way.
man, that makes sense, man. Well, man, you know, anything that you want in life, you gotta be consistent with it, man. And I know you know that. You know what I'm saying? Because you
Yeah.
then you could achieve it by.
I'm glad when it warm up though. Man. Winter time it keep you indoors more than you would like to be, and I like to move around a lot more often and network more. So you know I'm not driving, so with the winter time like this, it's kind of slowing me down a little bit. But when we get back into the warmer seasons, I definitely can turn that more on the burn.
That's it. That's it. Well, you turning up right now. We turning up right now. Still,
That's
you know what
real.
I'm saying? Straight up, we turning up. But yeah, man, this is good, man. I'm glad to be on your platform, and any which way I could help with that, I'm down. You know what I'm saying? To keep letting you see what's going on and get the bird's eye view on the boxing, the underground, and all that. It's not easy to keep it afloat, but we still got it rolling.
And I respect you for your time, brother. Thank you for coming on my platform and giving me your time and dropping some good jams on me, man. And
No
anytime
doubt.
you available, it's an open platform for you to come on, man. So I
All right, that's the fact. And I actually, I got a few fighters and even some coaches and a couple of my partners that I love to, you know, uh, chime in and be seen and let and give some knowledge as well.
okay. So just send them over my way, and we're gonna be in contact.
All right, let's get it,
Thank,
bro. Let's go, man. Appreciate you, King.
thank you.
Keep the fight alive, man. You know what it
You
is.
know it.
Keep going. Yes, sir. All right, Slim.
All right. That was the one, yeah. I like the interview.